Welcome everyone. Today is December 8th and it is 6:30 and this is the Acushnet Planning Board. This meeting is being recorded, also live on Zoom, and will be available on YouTube in the next couple of days. Can I get a motion to open the planning board meeting?
Motion to open the meeting.
Can I get a second?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. We have a quorum tonight. Can I get everybody to introduce themselves, starting with my left?
Steve Boucher, member.
Mark Francois, Chairman.
Ryan Deschamps, member.
Rick Ellis, Vice Chairman.
Okay. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing portion of this meeting?
That's for Catherine Street?
This is for Catherine Street.
Okay, I would make a motion that we open the public meeting portion of the meeting to discuss Catherine Street application. The Catherine Street application.
Can I get a
I
second?
second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. This hybrid meeting is being held to process a request for a finding relative to a denial of the ZBA application. Lot 24, Tyler Martin, applicant. Engineer is Schneider, DeVignan, and Leone. The plans and accompanying documents are available for inspection at the town clerk's office, Parting Ways Building, 130 Main Street, first floor, during regular business hours. Is Matt Leone out there?
We go. Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, great.
All right, you're on.
We're on? Okay. Good evening, Matt Leone with Schneider, DeVignan, Leone. Here tonight with a finding request on behalf of the applicant, Taylor Martin. And do I have permission to share the screen?
Please.
Okay. Okay. I believe Heather from our office has submitted the green cards for the proof of submission to the abutters.
Yes, you did.
So I think the board should have those as well. Tonight, the applicant is requesting that the board review the changes made to his zoning board of appeals application that was denied this past October. Mass General Law requires that the applicant present these changes to the planning board for the board to make a determination that the changes are material and specific in nature to warrant a new application submittal to the zoning board of appeals prior to the typical 2-year requirement after a denial. The project is located on the west side of Catherine Street. I have up here for you guys to see the A&R plan that created the 2 lots that we're talking about tonight. Specifically, lot 24 is the one in front of you tonight. So the lot was originally a single lot of approximately 54,400 square feet, and it contained 2 single-family camp-style dwellings, which is shown here on the plan. And in September of 2020, the planning board endorsed this approval not required plan that divided the lot into 2 separate lots, lots number 23 and 24, with each containing one of the existing dwellings. The division resulted basically in creating 2 non-conforming lots due to the deficiency in lot area, minimum upland area, lot depth. And for the lot in discussion tonight, lot 24, we're also short on frontage and lot width as well. Because the lots are non-conforming, proposed reconstruction on these lots require variances from the Zoning Board of Appeals. Applicants for both lots filed applications with the Board of Appeals this past October. And at that meeting, the board approved variances for lot 23, which is the larger lot shown in green here. For the construction, for obviously the removal of the existing dwelling and the construction of a new dwelling and a garage. But if they denied the application for lot 24. The original application for lot 24, as filed, requested the approval for a potential 2-story colonial style home with approximately 2,128 square feet of living area and a footprint area of approximately 1,064 square feet, along with a 1-car garage. And I'll scan down here to give you an idea. This was the original site plan that was submitted with the Board of Appeals application, showing the proposed dwelling, and one-car garage, deck, and obviously the septic system here off to the north of the left side of the plan. After receiving the input from the board and considering the concerns from the abutters, the applicant has downscaled the proposed reconstruction considerably. And again, I'll cheat down to the next plan that I have, which shows kind of the blow up of the lot. And the hatched areas here are areas that are going to be removed under the new application. And the piece here in red will be the new proposal. The applicant now proposes to construct a one-story ranch-style house with a total living space of 864 square feet. In lieu of a potential two-story colonial-style house having a living space area of 2,128 square feet. This constitutes a reduction of approximately 59.44% of living space. The applicant has also decided to eliminate the 308 square foot garage, which was on the previous application. And the applicant, as I said before, has reduced the dwelling footprint to 24 by 36 or 864 square feet from the proposed, which was originally 28 by 38 or 1,064 square feet. This amounts to about an 18.8% reduction in the dwelling footprint area from the previous application. We've also reduced the deck from 192 square feet to 144 square feet, approximately a 48 square foot reduction, and the porch from 228 to 216, a 12 square foot reduction. Considering the site conditions, we feel the project has been reduced as much as feasible, and that the cited changes are material and specific. It is understood that the board's finding tonight is not an endorsement of the project nor approval of any aspect of the proposed application. That this finding is solely a determination that these changes are substantial enough for us to submit back to the Zoning Board of Appeals. With a positive finding from the board tonight, the new application will be presented to the Zoning Board of Appeals at an open public hearing. The requested variances will then be reevaluated by the board based upon the newly filed information. The board, just as a note, the board will also have to make the determination that these changes are material and specific as well. So that's what I have for a presentation and an explanation of the project.
Now, what was the total living area square footage before and after?
Okay, well, with the potential colonial, we would have had a living space area of 2,128 square feet. With the ranch style that we are proposing now, it's down to 864 square feet of living area.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
When this first came in front of me, we had questions, so we reached out to town council for clarification to make sure that, it even belonged in front of us. And just to read quickly, per general law, C.40A as 16, where the ZBA has denied a variance application and the applicant wants to resubmit that variance application to the ZBA within 2 years following the denial. Both the ZBA and the planning board must make specific findings and consent to reapplication before the ZBA can rehear the variance application. So, gentlemen, like I had mentioned before, we are not here to approve the plans. We are here to take a vote on whether we think it is substantial enough change to warrant a reapplication to the ZBA. Rick, you had questions? Steve, anything?
I mean, at this point, I think my questions are pretty much answered by town council on this. That even though it is unusual, I guess, I mean, I only was in that position once in the last 23 years, or 23 years of working at a real estate developer. The only other thing I would really like to say for the audience, to go before any application was made, one of our requirements on signing a plan as the planning board, if there are two structures on a lot that were in existence before subdivision control, which is 1962, I believe, or 3 in the town of Acushnet, we are actually required to sign a plan that divides the property into two. And that's where this whole thing started. I don't know, it might have been 10 or 15 years ago that we signed that particular plan. So we were required by law to sign the plan. So the plan got signed, and now, some years later, somebody's proposing a change to increase the size of one of the buildings. I would, at this point, I mean, personally, I mean, again, as said by the proponent, regardless of what we vote here, it's really a ZBA determination as to whether they will entertain another application, and then even with the application, whether or not they will approve or deny it. I mean, in terms of just the numbers, I mean, we're talking about a reduction in house, not just house footprint, but house square footage from 2,100 square feet down to 900 square feet. I mean, in my mind, that's a substantial change. That's just me. And I think they certainly have met, just based on that one number alone, and from 3 bedrooms to 2 on top of that, on that one number alone, this is a substantial difference in the application between what it is now and what it was before. That's just my personal opinion. That's pretty much all I have to say. I mean, I think it's a reasonable application. I think it is substantially different than the original, and that's up to what the members in the audience say. And I mean, the rest of the board have got their own votes on this.
Steve?
I'm good with it. I mean, based on my understanding of what town council has put before us, it said that we had to make this call of substantial completion, of a substantial change in the plan and findings and material. Yeah,
You good?
I think I'm good with what we're supposed to be doing here.
Right?
Yeah, I am too, because they are showing a substantial change in what they originally had said.
Okay. Members of the audience, you're welcome to speak.
I mean, I'm happy with the change. I would much rather have a smaller house down there. That it's a lot of small houses, and it seems like we're getting overpopulated with very large houses very quickly. I've lived in this town my entire life. I moved from the other side. I don't want to stop people from moving into our neighborhood, but I want to keep why I moved out there was I've lived on Burr Avenue my whole life, and the houses out there are getting kind of close together. So I moved out there for, the aspect of being in a rural community that I like so much. So I'm happy with the changes to the houses. As someone said last time, one of the members of the board, that the dwellings that are there are not really dwellings. They're no bigger than like a shed, really. So I'm much happier with smaller houses. If it has to be that, I'm good with that.
Great. Anybody else?
So you're just gonna approve it, and then it's still gonna go forward, and somebody else is gonna vote on this again, right?
We're only gonna vote on that it is a substantial change.
Okay,
All of this has to go back in front of the ZBA.
right.
They have to vote that it was a substantial change. Then it goes back in front of the ZBA
Okay,
to discuss whether they're gonna approve it or not.
okay.
And just as in terms of general history, there are 3 old subdivisions in and around the lakes, the lake area. They were essentially summer cottages for the more well-off people in the city of New Bedford. And that's why all those structures there are so small. It's unique. And I think members of this board, and probably the zoning board too, have to look at it in that respect. It's hard to tell somebody that even with a small cottage, that with heat they could have lived in year-round, that now they can't have a place to live there anymore. That's just my own opinion. May not be a good opinion, but, you know, we have to live with those three areas, and as a town, we have to decide in some fair fashion how that thing should go forward. There's the one off of Hebert Road. There's another small old subdivision that does not have any named road that goes to it at all. I know, you know, it's and then there's another one not far from where I live, down Wood Road, and in that back part. All those three areas were basically all summer cottages for the people in New Bedford. And
Well, our problem was that the area that they were gonna put these two houses on, if you know the area and you go down there, you start thinking about all this square footage, two-car garages, and these raised septic systems. Where
I
are they gonna
understand.
put it?
I don't even like to drive down that road after it rains,
Scary
okay?
night.
I'm still wearing rain boots from yesterday, it just rained.
Forget about the winter time or anything
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I mean, the board could, this board could look at things happening in there much more restrictively,
Right.
right or wrong. Again, my opinion is, I mean, they've reduced it considerably.
Yeah.
The living area is less than half of what it was. It's 3 bedrooms to 2 bedrooms, and it's a way to allow continued use of the property.
Okay.
Can I get a motion?
I would make a motion to find that there has been a substantial change to the application, in that we've gone from 2,100 square feet of living area down to just a little less than 900. I mean, with a greater than 50% reduction in the living area, and a reduction from 3 bedrooms to 2 bedrooms, I would make a motion that we find, on that basis, that there has been a substantial modification to the plan.
We need a roll call vote on this?
A second? How about a second?
Oh, sorry.
Does anybody agree with me?
I already
Second
that. You second it. Can I get a roll call vote?
Yes.
Rick Ellis.
Aye.
Brian James. Aye. Mark Francois. Aye.
Steve Boucher, aye.
Passes unanimously.
And we've got the required 4 out of 5 that's required
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
refer to the ZBA for reconsideration.
And I need everyone. Thank you, Matt. Matt,
I appreciate it.
Matt, I'll have all these signed, and if you want a copy of the signature, or the board's signature, you can pick it up at the planning board office.
I appreciate
tomorrow.
that.
I would just say, I didn't bring anything to write with. If you could just write down the previously proposed square footage exactly, rather than my approximations, and then the newly proposed one exactly.
It's all in here.
Okay, super.
Yep, it's all in there.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're
Thank you,
welcome.
Matt.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I cringe every time I see anything in those 3 areas in town. Oh, please.
Well, like
Don't
you
ask
say,
me
they
to-
were all summer cottages.
Yeah, they literally were. I mean, that particular area, let me just put it this way. When I was a teenager, that place was deserted in the wintertime. There was nobody living in any of those places.
Wasn't till the 80s.
It was like a playground for teenagers, let me just put it that way.
No.
Send that one too, Brian, please. Oh, okay. One more. No, we gotta, that's it, 1, 2, 3.
The, He was
And
one of the
I
regulars.
had to get home, right, because he was coming down from the school.
Okay.
And
Yeah, with the things that
they
we-
were right there around the corner from the it's like,
I would make a motion that we close the public hearing for
We did
Catherine
work.
Street.
Yeah.
Can I get a second? Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
That's it.
We're done with you guys, assuming everybody's
you.
there for our Catherine Street.
All right.
Any other business?
I need a motion to go back into regular planning board meeting.
Motion to go back into the regular planning board scheduled meeting.
I second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There is one last thing. Did everybody get a chance to look over the minutes of the November 3rd draft that Paul sent out? Yep. Has anybody got any issues? Can I get a motion?
I make a motion to accept the minutes from the,
November 3rd.
November 3rd meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Give me 1 second. Okay, correspondence, there's none. Current planning from the town planner.
We'd like one.
We don't have a town planner yet. I've been in discussions with the town administrator, they're still working on it. As soon as I get an update on that, I will get back to you gentlemen. And the rest, long-range planning from the town planner, we got nothing. Other business, we have nothing. And can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.